Hello everybody and welcome back to Random Vids. Today we are going to be fixing the worst season of Stuffed Animal Amazing Race that I have ever done. That, as you all know, is Season 3. So with that, let's get fixing. For starters, we gotta get rid of the trailer. It's very cringy and it just doesn't make sense as this is the only season to ever have a trailer. Honestly, if any season would make a sense to have a trailer, it'd be, the All-Stars one. That's the one that wants to be, hyped up. Not Season 3 for random ones. Besides, the way it made Season 3's trailer look just made very cringy, and, it's a very outdated video now, because Season 3 is already out, so it's a video that could most likely actually be deleted in the future. But in order to start fixing Season 3, the trailer has to go. Next thing we gotta do is, we gotta fix the cast. That is a big one. So here is the current cast that ended up in Season 3 of Stuffed Animal Amazing Race. Obviously, this is going to need to have some changes. First things first, we're getting rid of Creeper. And instead, we're going to put in Alex. I think that's a way better choice already. Now, a little fun fact, I actually didn't have an Alex plush whenever I first started Season 3. Or when I was doing Season 3, which is why Alex was not in that season. And, even Season 4, I didn't have Alex. It wasn't until Christmas of 2024 that I actually got an Alex plush. So, yep, now I think it's time that we go through the cast and get rid of any characters that just doesn't belong or just weren't fun. This is an easy option. Goodbye R2-D2 and BB-8. Goodbye Goomba and Koopa. You guys can go as well. You know what, let's get rid of Espio and Charmy as well. They weren't that fun. What about some of these young ones? Well, there's an obvious one. We're going to get rid of Bingo and Rolly. That's a very easy pick there. I may love Bingo and Rolly from Puppy Dog Pals, but I've already explained why they weren't that fun to do. Who else just makes no sense? You know what, let's get rid of Lampo and Skippy John Jones too. They were, honestly, not horrible, but definitely more of a filler team. There we go. This cast looks better already. Just with half of the teams that, Season 3 had. But the only question is, who the heck am I going to add? Obviously, one of the biggest, hardest things about Season 3 was coming up with a cast. So, 3 years later, do I have any other ideas? No. No, I don't. But, I guess if we're sticking to, half of the teams being young and half of the teams being, older, then I guess we could always add Sparks and Buddy and Ginny and Bitsy. Honestly, with these two teams in here, it already makes the season better. And I know there's going to be that one person that's always going to say, well, wasn't one of your biggest mistakes or one of the things you didn't like about Season 3 was just how many young teams you put in the season? Yeah, very true. But at the same time, do you have any other ideas about someone I can do? Right. So, unfortunately, if I'm out of ideas, then I guess we're going to have to kind of be stuck with the younger teams. But honestly, Sparks, Buddy, Ginny, and Bitsy already is better than Lampo, Skippy, John Jones, which makes no sense. And, of course, Bingo and Rolly, who were just not fun to film. At least these four would be more fun to do. As for the other vacant spots, I can't really think of any other characters who would really work that well. I can think of a bunch of single people, but, I can't think of, teams. I could do Greedy by himself. That wouldn't work because he wouldn't have another partner. I could think of some other younger teams, like I know we already have Blue and Bingo as a team, but what about Lucky and Chucky? They're brothers as well, just like Blue and Bingo are sisters. So that could almost work, but the only problem is then that's just more younger teams. I would have to get rid of maybe somebody else. But, I think the young teams are fine for now. It's just the adults. And I know Baby H and Baby Daisy aren't adults either, but this is the section that's hard. What other adults is there to do? Honestly, really, from the plushies I have, not really many. But at least this is an improvement, I would say, over the cast that we ended up getting. So, I guess this is a start. Maybe Piggy and Gerald. The only problem is that I use Gerald as the Fizzy plush. So, and that wouldn't work. Also, speaking of which, Firefly and Mario, nothing changes except add Cole to the mix. Because honestly, having Cole in Season 4 was tons of fun. And having him help out Firefly and Mario just, I think, worked perfectly for Season 4. Because, just like the actual Amazing Race seasons where they have like a greeter at each destination that the teams go to, this was kind of like the same thing in a way. And, I think it was a very great idea. In my opinion, I think it was a good idea. And obviously for Season 3, we wouldn't have every team go and give them the clue like I did for Season 4. So kind of like in Season 4 where Cole was in a few locations to give teams their clue, he could do that, and he even had maybe more of an even bigger presence in Season 3. Having Cole in Season 3 honestly would make this season better. Oh, it's just another young person. Well, you can have your own opinion, but in my opinion, I think Cole worked great as a co-host in Season 4, so having him in Season 3 I think would work good too. I think that's basically everything with the teams. Honestly, I don't really have many options, or I don't have really many ideas, and it's not like I came up with some sort of video for months. I came up with this video for months and had to think of a whole bunch of other teams to replace the current teams that I wanted to get rid of. No, this is just what would I do to fix it this season 3 years later? Well, so far I'd say this is already better than what we ended up getting. But yeah, now let's move on to the actual season itself. First things first, we have to have an actual villain in this season. Not two heroes that I just made a villain the day the leg they got eliminated because, why the heck not? Honestly, the only season I think I did a good job with the villains is Season 4, because I feel like it's the season that, I actually did the villains correctly. But BB-8 and R2-D2, that'd just be so out of character for them. And if I'm cutting them from the cast, then obviously they can't be the villains anyway. So it'd probably have to be, I don't know, maybe Bob and Boopkins. Or I'd just, pick one of the other teams, one of the, quote-unquote new ones that would take me 5 years to be able to think of. And we gotta have the villains stay in longer, too. I can't just have them be villains for one leg and then get eliminated and then either shift the villains to somebody else or just have no villains for the rest of the season. In this case, BB-8 and R2-D2 got eliminated and the villainess just kind of disappeared. It was just it almost was more Steve and Creeper, but I wouldn't even call them villains. They were just more flip-floppy, maybe. I don't know. Or just, like, trying to change alliances. I don't know. I don't know what Season 3 was all about, but, yeah. If I would do Season 3 again, well, for starters, BB-8 and R2-D2 would, not even be in the season anymore, so I'd have to find some sort of new villain. And I want the structure of the villains to be better, too. Next thing, of course, is better challenges. I don't know what the heck I was doing by the end of Season 3 with its challenges, but a lot of them just either repeated from Season 1, or just repeated some of the worst challenges, or I just, chose some of the worst challenges and decided to add them in because, I was too lazy to do some sort of new fun challenge. Like, why are the teams climbing up the closet to find their next clue under the hats? Why? I don't know, there was better challenges that, I could have chosen, and, I'd waited till Season 4 to do those things, and they ended up being tons of fun. But there's so many good challenges. Like, I don't know, the leg that they go down to the basement to search for the clue? That challenge was tons of fun to do for Season 2 and 4. But nope, didn't do it for Season 3. But it's not just this leg, there's many other legs that I found just boring challenges in. Like, there's so many better challenges I could have chosen. Another thing is remove whatever the heck this was from Episode 7. Of Season 3. I don't know what was going on with Bingo and Rolly in this leg, but Rolly just decided that he was going to be upset for this leg because plot. And they ended up getting eliminated the next episode because plot. No, not really. Just because they were super boring and not fun to do anymore. So, remove this drama, and why don't we bring in something more fun? Like, well, I don't know. Like, how about have some fun story where some team shares some sort of backstory with someone. Then that explains why maybe they act a certain way that, the friend had no idea about, instead of just a character becoming, add a character just because why the heck not? Or heck, this could be a chance for them to reveal who the villains are for this season too. Wouldn't that be tons of fun? Well, it's way better than what Season 3 was, so I would rather change it to something like this. Also, definitely adding confessionals to the teams. That was tons of fun to do in Season 4, and it would work well in this season too. It wouldn't be as fun, of course, but hey, it'd still be there at least. Speaking of which, how about some of these other teams who aren't in Season 3 make a cameo? Especially if the cast isn't going to be the strongest element, then we definitely need something else to kind of pop in. And having some older cast, like for example Knuckles and Rouge, popping in to maybe an episode or two, I think that would be tons of fun and be interesting too. I think that's mainly it for the way I'd want Season 3 to go. Now, one last thing is the team placements. Now, obviously, this is going to be a big spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't watched Season 3. So, bear with me, or just maybe end the video here. But, the elimination order would obviously have to be different, especially with our 11th place team, no longer in this cast, unless if someone else I cast ends up being, last place. For the most part, I don't mind the elimination order for Season 3, but I think some things would need to change. Obviously, I'd keep Bob and Boobkins as the winner, and I think Steve and Alex, and maybe Bluey and Bingo, I think would still work well as the final 3. Now, the only thing is, because we now have the Super Kitties in, maybe trade out Bluey and Bingo for, I don't know, Sparks and Buddy or Ginny and Bitsy. That would be my only thing with that. Now, going in order of elimination, obviously Goomba and Koopa were out first, and then 10th was Puppy Paws and Shasta. I don't hate that, because 1, we do kind of get rid of one of the younger teams right away, and 2, they wouldn't shine until the All-Star season, so I don't mind having them get eliminated maybe a little earlier this season, especially since Daisy's not here, so, it's always fun having those two interact with each other. Well, anyway, after them, it was BB-8 and R2-D2 who got 9th. Obviously, they're not here, so it would either have to be one of, it'd either have to be one of the other teams that I would have to choose, or one of these young teams. But if these two would get eliminated in 10th, I'd be stuck with these 4 left, which isn't a bad 4 on it. It's better than the other 4 that I had. So it would either be one of these teams, or it'd be one of these teams. Maybe one of the new ones. 8th place was Baby Peach and Baby Daisy. Personally, I think I'd keep them in longer, and this is when I'd probably eliminate one of these teams. Maybe Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox, or maybe one of the Super Kitties, since there are 2 of them, 2 teams. So whatever one would not make it into the final 3 would end up being the one eliminated. 7th place was Espio and Charmy. Obviously, they're not there. And no, Firefly, Mario, and Cole aren't a team. I just put them in there for the to show what I was talking about with the host thing. But so I'd have to find another 7th place, and same with 6th place, because 6th place was Bingo and Rolly. But I think I would also, 6th place I think I would also give to, maybe 6th place would be either. This is hard. Maybe Baby Peach and Baby Daisy, maybe one of the new ones, or maybe like Bluey and Bingo, or the other Super Kitties team, the other one that doesn't make it into the final 3. 5th place originally would have been Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox, but if they're going to get 8th place, then maybe it would be either, Baby Peach and Baby Daisy, one of the new teams, or Bluey Bingo, or, one of the Super Kitties. That would be 5th place. And then 4th place was originally Lampo and Skippy John Jones. Obviously, they're not here. So that would probably have to be one of the newer teams. Because I think at this point, I would only want one of the young teams to be in it. That being the one who would make it in the final 3, whether that be Bluey and Bingo, Sparks and Buddy, or Ginny and Bitsy. Baby Peach and Baby Daisy, I think, work well for a 5th or 6th place. So it would either have to be one of the new teams or one of the younger teams for 4th place. 3rd, I think, still works well for Steve. Originally Steve and Creeper, now changed to Steve and Alec. 2nd place, I think, would work well for whatever young team made it to the final 3, and winners, of course, being Bob and Boobkins, because why the heck not? I think that was a good choice on me, at least, choosing the winner. Something else that I wanted to say, and this doesn't have anything to do with Season 3. This has something to do with an even older season, Season 1. I know for this is a season I did almost 6 years ago now. And the winners of that season were, spoiler alert, you've been warned, Mario and Luigi. And while I think, it was a fine choice and all, it does seem very cliched in a way. this is how. So there's already something I that I would change from the most recent season. So the winners of the most recent season, season 4, which is another big spoiler alert, Peach and Daisy. So I think I would want to change that up even a little bit. I'm not saying I don't want Peach and Daisy to win, but I don't think Mario and Luigi need to win, just because it seems like a very cliche choice. Mario and Luigi, they're the main characters. Big whoop. So this is how I think I would change it. Peach and Daisy win season 1, and then instead of them coming back in the All-Star, it'd be Mario and Luigi, and they get eliminated maybe a little earlier. And then the winners be Knuckles and Rouge, because honestly, I think that would be a great winner's choice for Season 4, because if it wasn't for Peach and Daisy, Knuckles and Rouge definitely would have won Season 4, just because they were so much fun to do that season, and they definitely dominated the season after Peach and Daisy, of course. So I think that would have been a great choice, but it didn't go that way, so... And now here comes the question of who would return in the All-Star? Well, all 3 of the teams that did return in the All-Star are still remaining. It would just be Alec and Steve instead of Steve and Creeper. And then, of course, Puppy Paws and Shasta and Minecraft Bunny and Minecraft Fox. And I don't think I would change. It would all depend on who some of these other teams would end up being. Would they be more fun than Puppy Paws, Shasta, Minecraft Fox, Minecraft Bunny, and Steve and Alec? Potentially, but honestly, I think the placements would remain the same. 11th, 7th, and 5th, I think were pretty good choices. If anything, I could see Minecraft Fox and Minecraft Bunny being replaced, but Puppy Paws and Shasta, I think, work well because they kind of redeemed themselves in All-Star, and Daisy's there, so that made it kind of fun. Unless if I went with my other plans to bring back Mario and Luigi instead of Daisy and Peach if they won Season 1. So maybe in that case, Puppy Paws and Shasta don't return. If I went with that route, with Daisy and Peach not returning and Knuckles and Rouge won the season, then Puppy Paws and Shasta wouldn't return either. I'd probably pick either one of the Super Kitties or Bluey and Bingo or one of these other ones. So Steve and Alec, I think, are the only ones that I could see bringing back. And yeah, I could potentially see them still getting 11. Because, you know, I can't change too much of the order from Season 4. But yeah, I think we got already a better Season 3. Removing the trailer, removing some of the teams that made no sense, and adding a few better ones and a few open spots for some other potential better teams, I think already makes this season better. Add Cole as a co-host to Puppy Paws, and change a few things that I did with the season, like find villains to do, find some drama to do, have fun challenges in the season. I think that would be great. Have confessionals for the teams, or even just have older teams just kind of, you know, pop in here and there, and have maybe a better elimination order, and just not do the season in 2023. I think that's probably the biggest one. Don't do this season don't do a season in 2023. So, but that's 3 years ago now. It's 2026. So, 2026 could be much better than 2023. Who knows? But yeah, I think we, for the most part, fixed season 3. So, would you see this happening in season 3? No, I am not doing a season 3 again. Don't ask. But yeah, I thought this would be kind of a funny idea. I thought of it the other day. What if I fixed season 3 of Stuffed Animal Amazing Race? And personally, I think the changes I added, I mean, it didn't make it my favorite season still, but I think the changes that I talked about could make this season better than, you know, what it ended up being. So yeah, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this funny little video, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.